Today we have Pastor Goodluck Opue. He is a relationship coach, life coach, marriage counselor, father of three, husband of one, a.k.a. the Love Doctor. Good morning,
Good
Pastor
morning,
P.
Queen Esther. Good morning, Divine. Good morning, Calama. Good morning, Doctor. Apologies for coming in late.
I actually understand why you came in late.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so what you read that story, sir? What
Yeah.
are your thoughts? Let's just get your thoughts. I mean, you get a story and you just start thinking, maybe this person would have done this. What did you think when you actually saw the story?
My very first thought again. I'm into not just dealing with couples. I put a lot of energy into premarital counseling, getting couples ready for a happy and a beautiful marriage. And again, I just saw it there. That fundamental flaw that a lot of couples keep overlooking, the lack of healthy communication. And if you listen to that story, you could see where she said it. Even when they were dating, they kept having heated arguments. And those were red flags, those were warning signs that they should have sat down and okay, we're not communicating. This is a problem. And if it cannot be resolved, I tell people don't go ahead in that marriage. This is what you're going to start facing. Okay, so that's one key thing I think they missed. So right now they are she's already in the hot pot, and we're trying to see how to calm it down. I think, like the doctor said, communication is a major problem. The challenge now is whether the guy will be open to wanting to find a solution. Someone needs to help this man realize that there's a problem in your marriage, because it's possible he may not even be seeing it. He's okay where he is in his world.
Yeah, he's handling his family.
Yeah,
Making the decisions.
yeah. So I hope she's listening. One of the things she has to do, just closely linked to what Doctor said, is to sit down. Maybe what she's been trying to do is get the man to take her suggestions. That's not the solution. You need to call your husband, have a sit down and say, I am dying. I am choking in this marriage. I'm getting frustrated in this marriage. And if he's wise, he will ask, why? What's happening? And then you will point out these things. You may have been pointing them out before. Now is a different approach. I'm choking in this marriage. I'm suffocating in this marriage. And listen, I'm getting to the point where I feel like I want out. Sometimes you need to say that to awaken someone's consciousness. I feel like I want to quit this marriage. Maybe you can get him to listen to you. If that approach fails, another approach will be, again, like I always tell of young couples, and they take it for granted, the need to have a mentor or a counselor in your marriage. I was talking with a young couple a couple of days back, and I just finished a marriage mentoring session with a group of couple, and when I kept stressing the need for them to find couples that they respect and trust with the values that they admire, and make them mentors over their relationship. Some people were asking, what if I don't want a mentor? I said, I'm not making it a law. It's not a law. You can choose not to have a mentor. But guess what I have to say to you? Save Johnny. Don't start calling me. I won't wake up by 1 a.m., 2 a.m. to be settling quarrel at night. It's even the scripture says, in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. You need that one person that your husband can listen to, that your wife can listen to. A neutral party, and I always advise, it shouldn't be your mom. It shouldn't be either of your mom or your dad. Someone who's completely neutral, again, who has a very strong marital value system, that can call, because he needs to get someone to talk to him. Look, there's a problem in your marriage. Your wife is suffocating, and you need to listen to her. And then maybe that can create a room for healthy conversation.
So much. Okay, so he said maybe she's not also contributing because men don't like women who don't work. Is that true? If I am person good luck.
Well, this last speaker and the one who spoke before, there are a lot of assumptions. And that's one of the things I wanted to say. On this matter, it's even whatever we're preferring, whatever solution we're trying to prefer here, it's still all based on assumption. We don't have all the details of that relationship. And these are the kind of times I wish I can talk with a couple. We're dealing with a lot of assumptions, so it's still very difficult to give exact solutions. That's why I will also encourage this lady to find a way to talk with someone who has experience, who has right marital values, okay, and can be able to maybe convince the husband to have a sit down and they talk. Because all of what we say is assumption. We cannot say, okay, whether she's working or not contributing to the home, we may not know. There are still men that no matter what the woman does, let her be the sweetest woman on the planet, there are still people that are fundamentally flawed in their character, in who they are. And it's just who they are. There's nothing you will do that will please them. It's who they are. And it has to do with sometimes their background, like Doctor said. So it's easier when we have all the facts on the table to be able to help. It's okay, this is where the problem is. What if you do like this? What if you go like this? But I think the goal is for her to be able to get the husband to sit down, to listen. And if he will not listen to her, is there any other person that he could listen to ask questions like, do you want your marriage to break? Will you be happy? Your kids? So someone needs to call his consciousness to that fact that the marriage could break, and if it breaks, these are the consequences. Because sometimes I've seen a lot of young lives, the children, when parents decide to walk away, most of the time they don't weigh the consequences on their kids. And I'm not talking immediate consequences. I have 25-year-old, 26, even 28-year-old, some even married, who could not get over the breakup of their parents, and they are still dealing with it in their own marriages. So somebody needs to call their consciousness to it.
And please let me just add to what Pastor has said. I actually want to emphasize the fact that these people need to speak to a counselor.
Yeah.
There are many counselors out there that are, dealing specifically on marital issues and even other relationship issues. Okay, and maybe the person might be saying, how will I get in touch with a counselor? If you get in touch with the producer of this program, I believe she can direct it to a counselor, because this is not just a situation where people make assumptions.
Yeah.
I mean, all we're talking about, we are just assuming, like I'm assuming, the guy might have been brought up in a kind of home and all of that. So it goes far beyond just people talking on radio. It's important for them to sit down together, even if it is only the woman for the in the meantime. Being able to get help. Help can start from there. So just so that the marriage can succeed. The Bible says that in the midst of counselors there is safety. So the person, they should also try and get in touch with a counselor. It will help them a lot.
So now, what she did initially was, and that's what most people do, I want peace to reign. Oh, there you go. So anything goes. And someone saw this story and said, this is the same thing I go through, but I just don't want to leave my home, so I just keep quiet. Is that really the way to go? I mean, you just, because your husband is making this an issue, I don't want trouble, I don't want to be called to leave my home, so I just want peace to reign. And that's what she did initially. Okay, anything you say, we'll go with it, because so. But is that really a good strategy?
For me, I would say no. But again, just taking us back a little bit to some of those comments you read out, again, lots of assumptions. And I always have a problem with assumptions, because you can't deal on assumptions. They're not going to help anybody. But coming back to your question, I want to use an example, but I hope it's perfect. It's a good example. I hope somebody will understand me. There was a time the cases of suicide in the country were rising, and people were, really concerned all over the place. And some of them are not just young people. Married men, married women just go climb the bridge, jump into the water. Before somebody gets to that point in life, you know what has been accumulating. We're human beings, and there's a breaking point. And you don't want to ever get to that limit. So some people may have the grace to keep quiet and take it all in. I don't know for how many years you're going to be able to do that. Sometimes too, what it does, that's the amazing thing. Your children are watching. They watch the body language.
I've seen just to add a little to what she said, I deal with a lot of young people. I hardly have a young guy or a young lady who is not even in a relationship yet walk up to me and say, I want to learn how to marry. They don't come. Even the ones that are prepared to get married in my church that I pastor, and you ask them to go through a premarital counseling session, what we call marriage academy, some of them you practically have to run after them to take it seriously. And I'm watching. So, like she said, you have due diligence. There are books to read. There are audio teachings to listen to. Find people who are veterans in this field who teach on it. Get their audio, get their message, get their teachings. Make it, if you pursue that, I want to grow in this. I want to learn this. Then you have married couples around you. You see a married couple that their marriage is admirable, is beautiful. How about drawing close to them? If you're a lady, draw close to the wife. If you're a guy, draw close to the man. and say, okay, let me just be friends with you. Actually, so that once in a while we are having conversations, I can ask 1 or 2 questions. The day I visit your home, I'm just sitting there taking a cup of tea, I'm watching your body language with your wife and your family. When we're having conversations tomorrow, I can say, hey, why you try? How do you do this? That's how you learn. You have to go out of your way to source for knowledge that you need to make it successful in this area. But most people don't do that. They just think that, like the guy said, tradition. This is our parents did. This is our parents. The world is changing.
Yes.
The world is changing. What our parents did how many years, 50 years ago, is not the same.
And it's not working again.
And it's not working again. So you need to get new information. New challenges are popping up in marriage every day. How do we tackle it? You need to go out there.
In this day and age, you have men and women working, not like back then.
Yes.
Just the man.
Exactly. Full housewife and things like that.
So.
No, I don't think it should be the case. I say to people, for every, like I said before, have you ever seen a 2,000 naira counterfeit note? Does it exist? Because there's no original 2,000 naira original note. So as far as they are originals, there will be counterfeit of the originals, but it doesn't mean that the counterfeit ceases to exist. So you got to trust. Life is about trust. Life is about faith. You need to just trust and hope for the best that you can find that one person that can be great for you to build a relationship. You don't stop trying. Don't just give up on life and love. There are great people out there, and you just need to source the right information and then get the right people around you. There's a question you asked that I don't want to miss, which I hope I can quickly go back to. When you talked about before we went to the music break, how much of the argument is too much. I don't know if I can comment on that. Arguments are great. They are normal. They are part of the relationship. I mean, anybody that tells you, I mean, even if you are dating, sometimes I've had couples. When was the last time you guys argued? And they tell me, we've never argued. I say, come, 2 of you, go back. You're not ready. No. You tell me you dated for 3 years, you didn't have an argument. Somebody's pretending. Somebody's over pretending.
True.
Yeah, arguments are part of it. You're getting angry is normal. It's part of your emotions. But self-control is what shows how mature you are. Knowing where to peg it. Okay, this is getting out of hand. So I'd like to give some practical example. Arguing in front of my kids? No. If I have an argument with my wife, I feel I'm not comfortable, I get into the bedroom, I call her. There's a tone of voice I will use. She will know that, even with the babe and the sweetheart, the tone becomes thick. Yeah, with some bars. Say, babe, please, can I see you? She just knows that, okay, this is serious. We get into the room, we shut the door, we sit down on the bed, we have a conversation. Even when we argue in the room. But there's a limit. When the voice is going high, I tell my wife, no, turn it down. We're having a conversation. Both of us are talking. So arguing in front of the kids, it's a no-no. It breeds a very toxic environment for your children to grow. And then also, repeated arguments that consistently put your partner down. Not giving your partner a voice to talk, to express. It's a no-no. It's a bad place to be. So these are some of the key things I just want to mention. And also, if it's when it's almost getting physical. It's almost getting physical, or somebody's getting, overly angry, excessively angry, or for days you can't talk to each other, then you know it's getting out of hand. That's when arguments are becoming a problem.
That's one of the best. In some seconds.
Okay, please.
Okay, I just want to say that sometimes keeping quiet might help, but most times it's good to talk.
Okay.
So, besides being able to share your stories, people should learn to engage the services of a counselor. It's very, very important so that we can get to the root of whatever the problem is, and that way you can actually have a permanent solution to the problem. Thank you very much.
Okay, final thoughts for this lady. Like she said, reach out to someone, reach out to Queen Esther, and maybe she can help hook you up with someone who will be ready to listen and guide you. And then also, like the doctor said, the goal for every couple should be healthy communication. Seek it, pursue it, read about it, study it, get your spouse to listen. And I hope that you can build a beautiful relationship. Marriage is meant to be beautiful. Don't believe anything less. And it's beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone that called in and those that sent their comments on Facebook. If you have a story you'd like to share with us, please you can call me on 0818-388-58814. 0818-388-58814. Or you can send a mail to tell your story at hit959.com. I'll be available to get your story, talk with you. And I like to say that these days, you talked about suicide, Pastor Goodluck. In the past 2 weeks, I've had calls on that.
Wow.
I want to end it. I want to stop it. Please call me. My
Yeah.
name is available. Let's talk. But don't even try to take your life. We don't want you dead.
True.
All right. So I'll leave you with this song with.